Welcome to Angel Impact, the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. Episode 27, 8 Ways to Join the Angel Investment Network, Part 2. So another reason you might want to join the network is if you have a network that you can leverage for the benefit of entrepreneurs. So so go ahead and say, what does that mean exactly? Like, how would you know if you had such a network?
Leon, you want to take this?
I'm not sure I can.
Okay. Well, I'm a strong advocate of networking. As a matter of fact, I was just on the phone with my son this morning, who is trying to launch his own little business. He's in electromechanical engineering, and he's invented some very interesting machines. But it's a networking. I introduced him to a gentleman that Leon and I have been working with, who's kind of a startup guy, a CEO. And I was coaching my son about, how to approach this opportunity. So this is not an opportunity to sell, and you're not really promoting yourself. What you're looking for is opportunities, and you're trying to find a match where possibly the person you're talking to can identify some opportunities where your skill set could actually be of value to those other people in their network. Networking is a whole different activity, but it's extremely important for entrepreneurs, especially when you're in that development stage, even trying to develop your business idea, your concept. You got to get out there and you got to meet people in that industry, people that can provide access to information about the industry. And again, Leon, you and I have had those conversations often about when you have an opportunity to talk to someone in the network, it's not about selling yourself. It's not about selling your product. It's about listening and learning as much as you can about that specific industry to determine how your business, your idea, can actually add value and improve that specific industry. That's your opportunity analysis that we talk about. And so it's about opening your ears, and it's about being a sponge and learning from people in that network. So that's how you want to work your network as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And that network, I find, comes in very valuable. We've seen this happen with a couple investments that we made. Those people were very successful. They sold their business, and now they're looking for other things to do with their time. So they are becoming available to say, hey, I'd be interested in helping develop a business for somebody that may not quite know how to do it. And I'll take them by the hands, and I can be sort of their hired gun for a year period of time to get them started. So that's one need we have. And those are people that we want to know and hear from. They may or may not be investors, but we also find investors have a lot of experience and knowledge in the specific industries they're in. And we look back on one just recently and said, we invested in this one company and it's struggling, but he's exactly in that industry that party is struggling with. Mm-hmm. And they're struggling because of COVID. They had a lot of things they were working on, and now all of a sudden those doors are closed because they can't spend time with the nurses in the hospital that are dealing with this medical project. And this guy's in that industry, so he can give them a lot of insight to say, okay, how can you deal with this problem?
So with networking, like, you never know who you know, right? You never know, like, how the people will be helpful to people you haven't met yet and that you need to continue to meet. So.
I always use the analogy. It's like digging for gold.
Yeah.
You don't know when you're going to find it, but I tell you, you do know when you find it, though. When you hit on someone, I'm thinking of a number of people involved in the algal area. We ran into somebody that through our network, and he turned out to be probably one of the top experts in the country.
Yeah.
And still maintain that relationship. So those relationships can be extremely valuable.
I don't think it's possible to be too well networked. I just don't think it is.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah. And there's an expression I like: your network is your net worth. And I think angel investing bears that out, in a very direct way, I think, for many, many people who become involved with it in different ways. So, if you have a network, you can bring to bear on all the problems that that arise in this ecosystem, then this is probably a good place for you to play. So we're gonna, yeah, Jeff?
Just as a final note on that,
Yeah,
for those listeners that might not be really familiar, strong networkers, there is a book that was written a number of years ago by Harvey McKay. It's called Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. And he talks about the protocol of network and how it works and how to be an effective networker. So it's more than just gathering names. It is about organizing your network and learning how to actually use that network. So anyway, good information on how to be an effective networker.
So you're saying, so networking is something you can learn to do better, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Learn to leverage
it's
better.
Skill like anything else in business.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. Okay. So networking. You can't ever talk about networking too much, I think. So another reason you might want to get involved in the angel network, maybe you are an entrepreneur with an innovative or scalable idea for a product or service that you can bring to the marketplace, and you need funding. That's a great reason to get involved with angel investors. Leon, you want to talk about this one a little bit?
Well, I'd say everybody, at least for the beginning of their opportunity, unless they're wealthy in their own right, are typically looking for money. In fact, we find a lot of them come to us and say, well, gee, just give me the money. I already know what I want to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, because they don't know what they don't know, we know that they're not ready, or we're not ready to give them the money, because it will be spent in the areas of where they already have invested their time and energy, because that's what they know about. So the money goes there. So we really want them to broaden their thinking and understand what they don't know. And they don't know that, so we'll help guide them. And that's where we sort of build again on this network before we build in the cash into the company, because they got to spend a lot of time. And most of these ideas don't get finished off here in a matter of a few weeks. It takes them months and years for these to come together till they've got all the, if you will, the rocks unturned, and they can see where the flaws are in their opportunity. And the biggest error they can make is to decide to go ahead and invest and do something, and then discover there's a better mousetrap already that's doing that. So now all of a sudden they don't have an opportunity. So there's got to be something there that gives them a unique competitive advantage. It's something they can do that no one else can do. Sometimes it's geographically located. Other times it's national or international.
Yeah, and that this is some of the things you heard Leon say. That's it's the reason I call him the due diligence mastermind of the WRBA, because he's always just looking for that competitive advantage. That's that's the mark of a really useful and scalable and potentially successful product. And Leon, what I sort of hear you saying is that there are many entrepreneurs out there who have probably very good ideas, and they should approach angel investors, yes, if they're looking for funding, but also if they're prepared to have a really in-depth challenging conversation about their product and their business that changes the way that they think about scaling it and bringing it to market. Would you say that's correct?
I think that's correct, but I also find that people have a belief as to how they want to bring that product to market. And when you start looking at that product and what their skills and capabilities are, they don't have the infrastructure to build that, to take that product to market. It would take years to build. So why do it yourself? Go with a partner, go with a distributor, go with somebody that already has that. Then you can get your product in there and let them share in the wealth with you. If it's unique, they'll tell you that, and they'll be willing to handle it for you. And you got your market penetration problem moved further along. You don't have to do it all yourself.
So angel investors and then the network that they bring, like they just may see a totally different way to capitalize on a product or idea, is kind of what you're saying, right?
Sure.
Things that investors would never think of.
Yeah, they think they have a patent, so they want to create the product themselves. Well, you may find out that there's really good people that know how to manufacture and sell that. Maybe you want to license that into those companies and get the royalties. Sit back and let the money come to you.
Yeah. Jeff, anything you want to add to that one?
Other than I'm still surprised at how the idea that if they build it, it will come still really has it, that people still hang on to that idea.
Yeah.
And I think the inventor's bias can be very problematic in building a successful company.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those entrepreneurs that have actually come up with a very creative idea or creative product that are open-minded enough to let people poke holes in it. And it's not to poke holes in it. It is to highlight the weaknesses in their hypothesis. You got to take your product, you got to take it out there, and you got to let people kick it around. And you have to be open-minded enough to accept maybe some of the challenges that others would put in front of you. And again, that's when you build your network. You want people that are going to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not.
Yeah.
And that can be very, very difficult for inventors that have spent probably a part of their life developing a product.
Yeah. Developing their baby. Yeah.
But you really don't want them to spend the rest of their life pursuing this opportunity if it really isn't worth pursuing, because they can go off to do something new and actually could have a big payoff, which they could learn from that idea that they set aside.
Yeah, it's the power of getting your identity wrapped up in what you're working on, isn't it? So
Yep.
Yeah. So long story short. Yeah, go ahead.
I just said it's my baby.
Yeah, right.
The inventors.
Yeah. So long story short, of course, entrepreneurs need to find angel networks. And angel networks need entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs need to be prepared to be challenged and to look at things in all sorts of different ways. And have their their kind of assumptions and their attachments kind of prodded at by some really smart, knowledgeable, experienced people who can look at things from different angles. So yeah, entrepreneurs though definitely need to be part of the angel network. Okay, so just a couple more here. So you might want to join an angel network like the WRBA if you have experience, perspective, and skill sets to share with entrepreneurs in an advisory role. So what is meant by that, an advisory role?
You can take this one, Leon.
Okay, really, you're looking at somebody there that probably fills in your voids at the early stage of every company. You don't have all the skill sets and knowledge you need to get your company going. So you ask friends or you ask people that are knowledgeable in that area where you're trying to position your business to help you, guide you through all the different problems you're going to experience. So you're really looking for their expertise, and it could be in a technology area, it could be in a business development area, it could be how to market, how to get information from the market. It could relate to any number of things. So every company that has been successful typically has an advisory board, and it's a lot of times in really heavy high technology areas, it's very strong oriented in the technology, because those are the people that know what's coming down the pipe. So hopefully you won't be creating something that they'll wipe you off the map and with a competitive alternative. So those are the people that can help guide you and save you a lot of time and energy.
Yeah. So so sort of join the entrepreneur circle to give advice and counsel and to talk about trends and things that they need to know, right?
And they'll obviously know what you don't know because they've been there, they've done that.
Yeah.
So otherwise they shouldn't be advisors.
Right.
And the other thing is you got to listen to them.
Yeah.
In one of our earlier podcasts, we mentioned a couple of the critical characteristics for a professional or for a successful entrepreneur, and one of them was coachability.
It's probably the biggest one that I
and self-awareness.
Yeah.
And circling back to the advisory roles, one way that an entrepreneur can demonstrate their self-awareness is by creating a strong board of advisors. Typically, board of advisors aren't paid. They can be. Some of them may want to get paid. That's going to be between you and the advisor. But generally, You bring in advisors again because you can't afford to necessarily pay a professional to be on your staff, or you don't need a full-time professional. In any event, that board of advisors can represent the areas of weakness that the entrepreneur has. And these are steps that you can actually take to address those areas of weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurs should know what they're really good at, and that's what they should be spending their time and efforts on. And all those other areas that are required to build a successful business should be either hired out, hired in, or find someone that can serve as an advisor to guide you through some of those corporate decisions that you're going to have to make as you build your business.
Yeah. Okay. So you can join an angel network if you are interested in taking an advisory role for entrepreneurs, maybe sort of joining their board, providing counsel and, bringing like important skills that, that the team doesn't currently have that you can supplement. So that's a way you can get involved with the angel network. Okay. And so the final one that we have and that we're going to explain briefly is perhaps you can join an angel network if you are able to serve as an interim, part-time, or even a long-term C-level employer for a startup company. So yeah, explain that a little bit, and then we'll wrap this up.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, I can take this one first.
Maybe it's a little self-explanatory, but
it's interesting because even before Leon and I started working together, we were involved with a local forum to identify some of the gaps in the network for providing support for entrepreneurs in the community. Mm-hmm. And one of the identified gaps was access to this type of professional support, C-level opportunities, or C-level skilled personnel.
Yeah.
There is actually an organization out on the West Coast, I believe, and it's called Rent-A-Corp. And that is exactly what they do. So it's kind of a headhunting organization, but what they do is they have a network of C-level executives that make themselves available on an interim basis, on a part-time basis for these startup companies. Mm-hmm. And they can get them through that startup phase until the company grows to the point where they can afford to hire someone. And I think in some cases, those interim managers can stay on with the company as a full-time employee with them, or they can move on to something else. But anyway, we found that there are a lot more opportunities for businesses, and there's definitely a lack of that C-level support that are available to help these entrepreneurs build and grow their businesses. So part of our networking opportunity, again, is to find and identify these people that are willing to serve in that capacity, that enjoy the art of the start and the excitement that goes with it. Mm-hmm. And maybe don't want to do it as a full-time job. Maybe they're already retired, but they love the energy and they want to be involved in something like this. So, if you are one of those people, please sign up for our newsletter and let us know who you are, and we'll probably have some opportunities for you.
So, all right. So that was, and I actually just counted the list now. There's 8 basically general ways that you can be involved with the angel network through the WRBA, and being an actual angel investor who meets the definition of the SEC's definition of accredited investor is only one of them. So there's 7 other ways that you may wish to become involved, and that the WRBA would be very happy to have you be involved. And again, I want to stress this is a check all that apply list, because anyone, we were just talking about this, anyone who is successful in business is likely going to have a number of those, in their wheelhouse. So once again, this is an invitation to become involved in the WRBA's network. As an investor, certainly, if you meet that definition and you have the interest, but in all these other ways as well, that helps the WRBA and their portfolio companies to succeed and grow. So once again, if you go to the website, that's www.midwestwealthventures.com. you can sign up for the mailing list in a couple places on that website. And the first thing that'll happen when you do is you'll get an email that will link you to the survey. And that's what we've just been going over, the different parts of that survey. And so take that survey and send it off, and Jeff and Leon will get a notification about that. And then they'll see how you'd like to be involved, and then they'll get in touch with you about that. So yeah, we're looking forward to meeting a lot of the people who are listening and have all these skills and perspectives and different kinds of expertise to contribute to the WRBA. So thanks so much for listening. My name is Aaron Marks. I've been here with Jeff Ebel, who's the president of the Wisconsin River Business Angels, and Leon Ostrowski, who's the chair of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. And Angel Impact is the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels, and Wisconsin River Business Angels is Central Wisconsin's only angel investing group. So thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode of Angel Impact. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Angel Impact, the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. To learn more about the Wisconsin River Business Angels, visit the website at www.midwestwealthventures.com or find us on Facebook.